Okay, what's up, guys? You know who it is. Marcus J. Jackson with another episode of Live Life. Okay, this is Live Life number 16. My experience with a suicidal individual. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and run through my introduction. So, just in case you are tuning in and suicide is you feel like suicide is your only option, please call 1-800-273-8255. That is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That is, okay? National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, okay? They have resources where you can talk to people. They will, give you whatever resource you need, or try to get you connected with the right people so that you can, so that you can get help. All right. If you are in danger of hurting yourself or someone else, please call 911. Go ahead and hop off this video and dial 911 to get you some help immediately. All right. If you just need someone to talk to or someone to listen to you, you can reach out to me at 469-626-7486. Again, that's 469-626-7486. If I do not answer the phone, during the hours of during regular hours, and you need to talk to somebody, I am a realtor. I'm also life coach. I have clients on a regular basis, so leave me a message, and or send me a text message, and I'll get back with you ASAP. I make myself available every night between the hours of 12 a.m. To 2 a.m. Right? So because that's the times where, between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. 12 a.m. and 9 a.m. That time has been updated. People tend to make the decision to take their own life. So, I feel like doing my part and giving back, and sacrificing a couple hours of sleep is nothing compared to just being a listening ear, or some positive encouragement to someone that may be thinking and transitioning themselves. Okay, so if you've been following my video so far, a buddy of mine that I spent some time in the Army with took his own life, and he was a struggling Christian, if you will. He was trying to figure out how he could live his lifestyle and also be a Christian. He seemed that it was very difficult for him to do that, and he couldn't live with it. He literally couldn't live with it. So he transitioned himself, and it was a heavy blow to everybody that knew him, that was in the Army with him. So I know it was a heavy blow, to his family. So shout out to him, shout out to his family as well. If you have attempted suicide before, feel free to tune in to this message. Maybe it's something that you hear may it may help you decide to stay with us. If it's something that you're struggling with right this minute, please tune in to any of my other videos that you've seen. You can go to my YouTube channel at Marcus J. Jackson. There is some motivational stuff on there, some encouraging words on there as well. Like I said, please feel free to reach out at any time. I am very thankful. Oh, let me go to my chat real quick. What's going on, Irenia? And okay, she says hi, and she says I've attempted twice. Okay, yes, so definitely, if you feel like that you're the only one going through and you're the only one feeling the way that you feel, please feel free to look at the comments. You can leave a comment, and maybe someone there will reach out to you. And I mean, maybe the dialogue of going back and forth through the comments may encourage you to stay on this side with us. All right. So there's always people reaching out, always people trying to help when they can, and I'm thankful for that. So thank you so much, Arenia, and everybody else who chimes in, and shout out to Brienne and to John. All right. So I'm gonna dive right into it. So this is every Monday I'm gonna do a story for where I've actually had to deal with an individual with a suicidal individual, and because I've been in my line of work, I've had people. I've had to be the first responder to someone that is committing suicide, or attempting to commit suicide, and it's Chateaubriand. Chateaubriand. All right, got you. I hope that, did I butcher that again? Chateaubriand. Or Chateaubriand. Oh, wow. Sorry. So anyway, so let's just take a few minutes, a few deep breaths to get ourselves kind of reacclimated back to ourselves, to bring our mind body alignment back to where it needs to be. So let's just ground ourselves real quick. All right, take a deep breath. Nice and relaxed. Another deep breath. Just be present in the moment. Don't think about the future. Don't think about the past. Just think about what's going on right now. All right. Okay. So, I got a call one night. There was a young man on the interstate, right? Well, actually, the overpass. Okay, so there's an overpass on one of my routes, or where I would routinely patrol, and I would go over the overpass, and not every night, but it was a part of my patrol. So I would just frequently go by there, or have to go by there to go, to either the other side of the highway, or for whatever reason, right? So I get the call, and I literally just passed, right? Like I literally just passed this particular overpass, and I didn't see anybody there. So, I got the call. It was a 67, 67 meaning someone with a mental illness. And so I'm like, okay. So I circle back around, and so as I pull up, like I still don't see anybody, and I thought it was kind of weird, and I made the call in. I said, hey, I don't see anybody there, but what was happening, and this is, keep in mind, this is a very busy but a very busy overpass. Cars are frequently coming through there. So I assumed that he was on the standing on the overpass, thinking that he was going to jump off or whatever. I didn't know. So turns out he's closer to the where you exit off, and he's like sitting up under the the little, it's like a little, what do you want to call it? You know, where the homeless people will set up like right up under a ramp somewhere, and that's where they kind of make it their little home where they chill right there, like right up under that little spot right there. So I, once I make my call, I said I'm out on foot, so I'm looking for him. I don't really see anybody, right? So I go down to where I hear noise and someone talking. I reach, so I start walking down and I look and I say, hey man, what's going on? And he takes out and runs to the other side of the little ramp and pops up the top of it. So I'm like, hey, what's going on? So I go back over to the side of the overpass and I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? So then he begins to, put one leg over the rail and I'm like, I said, man, hey, you're actually on the opposite end, or if you're just trying to sit and hang your feet over the rail, like you're on the opposite end. That's where traffic is coming, right? And if you fall, then it's going to be a very ugly sight, right? So at this point, this gentleman is very he's not talkative. He's not giving me anything to go on, and that's one of the most scariest situations because you don't know, like you don't know what they're gonna do. You don't know when it's gonna happen, and usually when you just can't get them to say anything, to me it's like a red flag, and I am trying. Everything that I can, I'm throwing everything at him. All of the open-ended questions. Where you can trust me. Everything's gonna be all right. The whole nine, and I'm not getting nothing. No feedback, no nothing. But he's sitting on top of the railing, and it's a smooth surface, so it's not forgiving. So if you make a move, you would literally slip right off, and into, oncoming traffic. So I said, I went ahead and called for, additional backup, because sometimes when, they hear you call for backup, they may, go ahead and make that attempt because, they don't know. But he wasn't saying anything. And if I was going to try and go for him, I would want somebody close as well, you just want somebody there when something like that is going down. All right. So I called for backup, and, some more cars get there. Right. And so as my backup comes, they pull up, they get out of the car, and as they get closer to him, I'm still talking to him, right? As they get closer to him, he yells out, "Don't touch me, don't fucking touch me." And I'm like, whoa. I said, man, I've been talking to you for like the last 15 minutes, and you ain't said nothing to me, right? So I said, man, that's not fair. I said, come on, really? And so he kind of looked over at me, and I kind of gave my, the hand signal, hold up, stop, because that's the first eye contact that I had. And I'm like, wow, something's up, something's going on, because now that the people are here, he wants to, engage, if you will, engage in some form of communication. So I don't know. I don't know what that was about, but as it continued, I would say something that would get his attention, and he would look over at me, right? So one of the things I said in particular is I said, I always ask, so what is this for? Or is this for someone else? Or, are you doing this to get back at somebody? And he looked over at me, And, I felt like that was something that, I could work with. So, of course, I got my guys on the edge or whatever, on the opposite side of it. And I'm just like, man, I'm not a professional negotiator or nothing like that. But as these, the professional guys come, they begin to talk to him as well. And he's fine, he's back in that point to where he's not engaging or anything like that. So they're there, and there's no more communication towards me at all either. So I'm like, okay, so I said I'm gonna go ahead and check out, and y'all got it from here. And they give me the nod, yeah, we got it, go ahead and check out. So as I'm getting ready to check out, I said, hey man, I got the professionals here. They're gonna help you out and take it from here, all right? And he says, no. And I'm like, no, what do you mean? No. I said, they're the professionals here. I'm gonna let you talk to them. They're gonna help you through this, right? So he said, no. And I'm like, okay. That's it. Well, man, you got to give me something to work on, man. I've been talking to you now. At this point, it's probably been like 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes. Thankfully, traffic has stopped, right? It went from everybody was kind of slowly creeping by, but as other people began to come, they shut off the roads and so on and so forth. So now you can the traffic on the interstate is beginning to slow down as well as they block off the road as well, right? Because if he does decide to take a jump, which is it's precautionary measures. So if you ever find yourself stuck in traffic, and you don't know why, it's probably something like that going on, right? So hold on one second. Okay. So I said, hey man, no. I said, you saying no? I said, you got to give me something to work with. I said, well, what's the problem? I said, because if you don't, I said, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen, right? I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. Either I'm gonna have to, either we're gonna have to take the risk of tasing you, right? And if you tase, if they tase you, or if I tase you, right, your muscles are going to clench up in your body, right? And we're going to have to hope that somebody can grab you before, before you fall over. I said, so either way, like if you're on the fence about this, at least turn around and put your feet on the ground. All right, at least do that for me. If if you're on the fence about this, and there's any chance whatsoever we can, you can walk away from here, right? Because I don't want to leave you, but I'm gonna have to if you don't, say anything, if you don't give me anything to work with. So he looked over at me, and he turned one leg towards the he had one leg kind of straddling the guardrail. So I'm like, okay, hey. I said, okay, I'll take that. I said, now, you know what's gonna, I said, you know what's gonna happen. And I need to give me some water. Hold on, I'll be right back. Y'all don't go nowhere. Okay, so, all right. Sorry about that. I had to go get me some water. Like I said, we very informal here. Okay, so um, so I told my man, I said, man, listen, you know what's gonna happen if I can't get anything out of you, so you're gonna have to talk. You got to tell me something, so we can, we gotta figure out how to get you back on this side, okay? So he says it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. And I said, what's not worth it? What do you tell me what you're talking about. So now, you got the pressure of my guys saying, hey, Jackson, we're going to have to make a move. We don't know. And I'm like, okay, so I'm giving them the hand to hold on, because where they are, it's almost kind of like they got the downside. Like we're at a slant. I'm at a slant. He's kind of at a slant a little bit. And, their most tactical position, they're at the most tactical position to try and, grab him, and bring him to safety. So I would be going uphill trying to grab him and keep him from, falling. And he, they're slowly moving closer. We've got like this, it's like a big, I forgot the name of it, but it's a pole. It's got like a rope on the end of it, to try to, like you would catch, that you would use to catch a dog, like the dog catcher has. But it's big. It's a big like rescue contraption. So it's not like a dog catcher thing. Really, that wasn't good. But anyway, that's what they use, right? And we got that going, and he's like, he keeps saying no, and he would be like no periodically, no, and I'd be like, okay, hold on, because if you give him, in my experience, if you give people a chance to say something, or you give them a chance to talk, you can probably, and they're responsive, 9 times out of 10, there is some reasoning, or there is something that can be done, right? And I feel like if he had wanted to do it, he would have done it, by now, right? So we're what was it, 30? We're probably 45, 50 minutes into it. And, it was just the being patient is sometimes the most important thing, and just putting thoughts out there so that they can think about what's going on, what could happen. And sometimes you just gotta wait. Maybe there's a traumatic event that happened, and something just so overwhelming that he felt like he couldn't come back for it. So so as I began to talk more to him, as I continue to talk more to him, what struck his, what really got him talking is him saying, you remember he said, it's not worth it. I said, to me, it's not worth, losing a life for no reason. I said, I gotta have a reason. I know you might not have to have a reason, or I don't know what your reason is, but the only way I think it's worth it, is if there's a reason. If you're doing it for no reason, then, we got a bigger problem, So he, you could tell he was beginning to break down physically, because, we're going on an hour, sitting there talking, and it was taxing. It was taxing on me, so I know it was taxing on him. But it's a really, really high stressful situation on the quote unquote negotiating end, right? Because you don't know, and I'm looking for, cues to where I can, maybe, rush him real quick and pull him off. But it's so delicate, because you don't want to be liable if he falls, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy, because you don't want to get sued, or it's a lot of stuff that that can happen, right? And so you're thinking about all that, and it's like, man, you know, I don't want nothing to happen to him. You know, I want to do my job. You know, I definitely don't want to go home with somebody, you know, somebody's life on me because I was unable to save them, right? And that's what it's about. You want to be able to save everybody. I know when I was a officer, I was like, you know, I was gung-ho. You know, I wanted to save everybody, wanted to help everybody and the whole nine. And that would have just crushed me, right? If I had to have, you know, gone through that with somebody and was, you know, unsuccessful in, you know, helping them or talking them through. So, I said, what's worth somebody's life, man? You know, talk to me. Tell me what's worth somebody's life. And he says, well, it's time. You know, it's just time. And I said, well, what is time for what? You know. Then he said, so much has happened. And I said, well, I said, so okay. I was like, oh, so what happened? You know, I feel like we're getting somewhere, right? I said, I think you're beginning to trust me a little bit. All right. I've been here all this time. I said, so I think I deserve to know what's going on, right? So at this point, you know, he's kind of opened up. You know, he even cracked a smile a little bit, you know, because I told him, you know, I feel like it was because I told him, hey, you know, it's only fair that you tell me something, you know, because I've been up here hanging with you for, you know, over an hour, you know, so I think I should at least know the story before something go down, right? So, you know, he smiled, and he began to just kind of, you could see he was reflecting and thinking about what I like to call, he became in the moment, like he became present. Because if you ever talk to somebody after something like that happened, which I was fortunate enough to talk to this individual after, you know, like later on, days after, and they're at a place where, you know, they're reflecting on their life, and, you know, kind of in the past, right? Things that have happened. That's what depression is. You're stuck in the past. You're stuck on things that happened to you a long time ago. So you're at a state of arrested development, and you need to be released. You need to open your mind. You need to open your mind and pull yourself literally. Sometimes you have to literally go back and pull yourself out of those situations, right? Literally, like in your mind, go back and pull Marcus, physically put your hands on Marcus, all right? And pull him back to the present moment, right? And the same thing with the future. For those of us that are anxious about things, right? And this young man was saying he was anxious. He had depression and anxiety going on because he was anxious about something that hadn't even happened yet. But in the future, you know, these things were going to take place, and he was afraid of what the outcome was going to be. And you know, and I said, man, listen, you know, after he said what was going on, which he caught a case. I'm trying to make sure I got this. Yeah. So he caught a case, right? And he was going to end up having to do some jail time. And it turns out that he did not, you know, want to go to jail, and he wasn't going to go to jail. You know, and that's what was going to be his alternative. And I just felt like, you know, had someone explain to him more, because a lot of times we go off on a tangent about things and we overthink things, and the situation was a rough situation, but it wasn't something that that he couldn't get through. And it turns out that, you know, strangely enough, after the situation unfolded, well, let me backtrack, and I'll come back to that. So I began to as we began to dialogue a little more, and I said, hey man, tell me the story. So he got into a domestic violence situation where he was they call it a crime of passion. So his friend was getting beat up on, close to death. The boyfriend almost killed her, and it was his female friend, and he went in and pulled the guy off of him. The guy turned out to be stronger than him, so he kind of punched him out real good. So the young man goes to his car and gets his gun and shoots the guy. Wounds the guy. The guy didn't die or anything, but that's what happened. And he didn't think the crime, the punishment fit the crime. He was just like, it's not worth it. I'm not going to go through this or do all this time in jail because I didn't do anything wrong per se, right? And and crimes and law and stuff like that, we'll probably get into that later, like way down the line. I may do some videos or something like that on that. But anyway, that's where he was mentally. And I said, as he began to break the story down, I told him, I said, hey, we don't even know what's going to happen. At this point, you basically, just heard that that's what's going to happen from, the attorney and so on and so forth. So nothing has really been said and done at this particular time. I was like, so we're about to make a permanent decision on something that we don't even know the outcome for. Like we still have to live to that point in order to figure out what's going to happen. So with anxiety, you become anxious about things that you feel like you're anticipating these things to happen, or you think they're going to happen, or you're fearful of the future, and rightfully so. I'm pretty sure I would be afraid if I was in a situation like that as well, when you just don't know what's going to happen. But at the same time, we living in fear is unhealthy, and it's a very, very debilitating process when you are living in fear 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week. It's just not something that you want. It's not the most positive thing that you want to do. And I know things are a reality for some people, and and a fantasy to others, and some people have no idea what it's like to live in fear of the future, right? And there you have those that have no idea what it's like to be stuck in the past with depression. So I would invite you just to be present all the times. I know it's easier said than done, but please tune in, to my live life sessions. That's thinking about these things sometimes brings us to a present state of mind. You can feel free to go down my timeline and look at my videos as well. Look at the comments of people who have commented. And you can also go to my YouTube channel at Marcus J. Jackson. Go there, and there's words of encouragement on there. There's a lot of wonderful things that golden nuggets, I like to say, that can help you out. Thank you for the love, guys. Thank you for the love. And I feel like it would be very beneficial, for you to take a look at what I have there. Take advantage of it. It's all free information. And it'll help you think twice about some of the decisions that you make overall. And not just life-threatening situations. So anyway, that's pretty much what happened with the young man. He just, he eventually, nobody forced him to. It didn't get ugly or anything like that. He turned around, put both feet on the ground, and was still, sitting there. And as I began to get closer to him, he wasn't rejecting me. He wasn't saying no, but he would be like, "Okay, that's good, that's good," because I guess he felt like we were going to, arrest him, and he was afraid to go to jail. So, at this point, you're having second thoughts about suicide, and now it's your escape is easy. Your escape is right there, but you're surrendering yourself per se, to be arrested, all right? Because this is it's a situation where, hey, you're gonna probably take a trip to the to get an evaluation at least, if nothing else. So he came with me without a struggle or anything like that, and I said, "Hey man, I got to go through the process, okay? Just for safety purposes, I am going to put you in handcuffs. I don't, like I said, it's just for safety purposes. It's just a protocol. I want to get you an evaluation to make sure you're not a danger to yourself and nobody else." Which, we can all assume at points that that is a little much or a little overboard, but it's just for his safety. Because if you let a person go and you walk away from a person like that, and all the lights and the attention are gone, and they go back into this depressed state, they could end up committing suicide, and then you're liable. It's just, as a public servant, you're liable on something like that, and it can kind of come back to bite you. But that turned out pretty good. I took him a ride. I gave him a ride so he could get his evaluation done. And, I was able to follow up with him after a couple of days. And he was very thankful, very appreciative. And it turns out, because of that situation, it wasn't as bad as he thought it was going to be. Because of it, because of what happened, because of the crime of passion is what they call it. And, it wasn't as bad as he thought it was going to be at all. It wasn't bad, and I'm really, really happy for him. So, just imagine if, he would have got slammed pretty hard with, a lot of years or a lot of time or a lot of probation or whatever, and that could have just kind of drove him back into a state, a suicidal state, by being overwhelmed or trying to overcome or deal with the situation at hand. But like I said, it turned out very, very well for him. I was very excited. And, that's another suicide story that I had that I feel like was very successful. So anytime that I can talk to someone and they decide to stay on this side as opposed to go to the other side, I'm glad. I'm happy with it. So that's it for my story. I didn't really have a lot to cover today as far as information wise, but on Mondays I'm always share a story with you guys and let you know. Check my comments, my chat. All right, cool. So awesome. We got some shares. Oh, there we go. Or homeward bound. I don't know why I can't see my whatchamacallit on the things. Oh, Iridian says or homeward bound, Hickory Trails, Timberline, yep. Green Oaks, yep. Those are the facilities that you will have to take that trip too. So definitely. And what else? We got some. All right. Yeah, thank you for the shares, guys. I appreciate it. So I am just gonna hang out here for a little bit. I'm not, like I said, I make myself available every night between the hours of 12 a.m. and 2 a.m. So if you want to reach out to me, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact number is 469-626-7486. Right? And I will, if you need someone to listen to you, I'll listen to you. If you need someone to talk to you, I'll talk to you. Right? If you need the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, you can reach them at 800-273-8255. They have resources that you can, use to help you through the situation as well. What else? If you are in danger of hurting yourself or someone else, please call 911 so we can get you some help immediately and help you get through whatever it is that you're going through. All right. And please understand that there are people out here that care about you. I know things are overwhelmingly hard sometimes. And I know that you feel like there is no way out. No one can help you. Every which way you turn is disappointment, or you feel like you failed. There is no help. Nobody will help you. Nobody wants to do anything for you. You just feel like nobody cares. Nobody loves you. The situation never gets better, no matter how much you try, no matter how much people tell you to keep pushing, keep going. You're going to make it. We'll pray for you. You still, feel like there are no other alternative, right? Tonight I'm here to tell you that there is. There is, for every person that doesn't care about you, there's someone out there that does care about you. All right? It just is. And if you don't believe me, I want you to take a moment and reflect on this thought right here. When you think that there's nobody out there that cares for you, right? And a lot of us are deeply disappointed by dealing with our family and dealing with rejection from our family, or just being mistreated by our family, because we expect so much from our family and nothing happens. Nobody does anything for you. Your family fails you. They don't come through when you need them to come through, right? And all of that. Reflect on this thought. If you ever been in a situation where a stranger has helped you more, or somebody, or a friend, or a close associate, a coworker has helped you out more than anybody in your family has ever done, right? Reflect on that thought and just imagine how many times it's been where a stranger helped you out more than your family. You can probably count them more than you can family members that have helped you out, right? And that's not to say anything bad about anybody's family, but it's just to reflect on that thought. If you think people don't care about you, maybe the people you feel like count the most, you may feel like that they don't care, but there is people out there that care. And a lot of times those are people who are not our family. And, I think we should, just take a minute and let that sink in real quick, okay? Let that sink in, because I know there's been a lot of times where I'm close knit with two guys that I grew up with, and we've been super tight forever. And, you know, they've looked out for me more than anybody, you know, in my immediate family has. You know, not that, you know, not that my family hated me or anything like that. It's just that, you know, they were there. I spent a lot of time with them. We spent a lot of time together. You know, we know what each other's going through. You know, and sometimes you may not want your family to know what's going on. So your family doesn't know to help you, you know, in defense of some families, because people they'll inbox me and say, well, you talk about families, or, you know, we helped you out when you were down. And you know, I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about the people who didn't help. I'm talking about the people who think that there's nobody out there that cares, but they do, guys. It is. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be, you know, spending an hour on Facebook, you know, being a talking head, or on YouTube, you know, because I'm recording for my YouTube channel as well. You know, I wouldn't do this, you know, if I didn't care. I care, like I do. I genuinely care about you. No, I don't know you. No, I don't know what you're going through. But I know that the alternative to life is death. And, you know, death is a part of life, right? And I know that, like I said, sometimes that is we think that that's the only alternative, and there's no way out. There's always a way, right? As long as you're living and breathing, you have the ability to think, the ability to reason, you know, the ability, if you have physical breath in your body, right, there is an opportunity, there is something that can be done, okay? I would invite you to be patient with your healing. Whatever you're going through, okay, you have to be patient, right? We live in a world where there is instant gratification. We can make a post and 1,000 people will like it within 10 minutes, right? You know, that's all the attention we need, and we're looking for more, right? Because we want that instant gratification. You know, we live in a society where we can go down the street and get a burger, get a food, a taco, you know, at any time, right? You know, because we want that instant gratification. And sometimes that bleeds over into our lack of our lack of patience, and we need to just be mindful that everything that we go through is a process, and we have to be patient. We have to trust the process. We have to trust the universe to take us through the process and get us from point A to point B safely. Okay? I'm gonna hang out for this last 12 minutes, 11 minutes, and if anybody has any comments, please feel free to leave some comments and let me know what you're thinking, what you're feeling. There we go. Sending my love out to my people. Let me know what y'all think about this Live Life series, all right? I'm thinking about turning it into a ministry of some sort. You know, just the whole Live Life thing. You know, not so much as just talking about suicide, but helping those transition from fear-based belief systems into, you know, spirituality, things that focus more on knowing yourself, like, you know, know thyself, and just raising your overall conscious. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. So let me know, you know, if y'all like this particular message, or you would be willing to, tune in for a more of an intimate message, if you will. And I'm gonna probably get that going here next September 9th, right? I'll be talking about religion and where we went wrong, and how it turned into a fear-based belief system, as opposed to a system of harmony and a system of peace, right? It turned into a fear-based system, and it's not, and it speaks to the state that we're in today, because people just lack the, they lack the knowledge. And I think, I think if we knew where the imbalance came from, we would understand, that the world needs a feminine energy and a masculine energy. The world can't be ran off of masculine energy alone, and it can't be ran off of feminine energy alone. It takes a balance, and like I said, I think that's where we dropped the ball, as a people, by not adhering to the balance. And and I'll go through that. Like I said, starting next month, I'll get deeper into the discussion of consciousness, expanding the mind, more mindfulness, going back into a little bit of the history, some biblical principles, and things of that nature. So, yep, that's going to be the game plan. So yeah, hopefully you guys will tune into that as well. I may put it on Zoom, so that everybody can kind of chime in, and be able to interact with each other and see how. All right, thank you for the love. Thank you for the love, Miss Darden. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just hanging out, just in case somebody wants to hop on and chat, and they have something they need to get out the chest. There we go. Two, perfect. Chateau. Make sure I say that right. Perfect. All right. Next, we thought he was coming to Green Oaks. Yeah, Timberline, Hickory Trails. I've been in all of them except Timberline. Okay. Wow. Yes. Aridia, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you are here. So glad that you are here. I'm very, very thankful that you decided to stay on this side with us. And I don't know if you please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me whenever. And I know you also have some resources that you can tap into at home as well. So yeah, but I'm very happy, very, very happy that you decided to stay with us. All right. So please continue to stay with us, right? Because I want to see your beautiful face pop up on my timeline from time to time. Okay. What else? So anyway, guys, for those of you that just kind of popped on, I am coming to a close here in the next few minutes. But what I do is I hop on here every night between the hours of 12 a.m. and 2 a.m. I usually stay on the live for about an hour, and talk about give information about suicide prevention and awareness, and because one of my close buddies committed suicide, and it's kind of like my giving back. Well, not kind of like, it is my giving back. Just being a resource for someone to reach out to. You never know. Somebody, just talking to somebody or just having a platform like this may help somebody, get through something. They may read the comments. They may, something I say, something you say may, kind of flip the switch for them to decide that, hey, I do want to stay on this side. I do want to push through life and understand, why I'm here. And they may change their mind and decide to stay with us. And I also want you to know, as I'm closing out, there is a reason that you're here. There is a purpose that you are here. And for those of you that are struggling, trying to find your purpose, trying to find out where you fit in life, okay? I want you to know that death is a part of life. Death isn't, separate from life. It's something that happens in the life cycle, right? There's life, then there's death. It is, and don't fear it. Don't have it's okay to have that, that ego fear, because that ego fear is what keeps you alive, of course. But, don't be afraid of just change your thought process about what death is. And it's not, for a lot of us, we've grown up thinking that death was annihilation, and you die and you go to heaven, or you go to hell, and there's fire and brimstone and all this stuff, right? But as you transition into the next life, or whatever course you take after you transition from this life, your mind, or whatever you've created in your consciousness, your subconscious, is what's going to happen when you die. So if you think that you're going to go to hell, then you have created a hell on your, on the other side for yourself, right? So, excuse me. If you heard the phrase that, if you think you can, you are, or you think you can, you will. And that's very, very true. So if you think that you're going to hell when you die, then yes. If you mentally subscribe to a fear-based belief system, then fear is going to be the root cause of your decisions. And you're going to think that, if I die, I'm going to hell, and, I'm going to burn with fire and brimstone and all this kind of good stuff, right? This stuff is in your mind, man. And if you create your own heaven, you create your own situation as you transition, right? You, by being present and being in the moment, not being depressed, not being anxious, and you transition with full consciousness, then that creating heaven and hell is a mental thing, and you create your heaven or you create your hell when you cross over. So or when you make the transition from life to death. So just keep that in mind, and tune in. I'll break that down more as we continue with the Live Life messages, and so you'll get a clear understanding. I also do one-on-one consultations, so if you need one of those, feel free to reach out to me as well. I got an inbox a couple of days ago about donations, and I said that they ask me why I don't accept donations, and I do. I just accept donation through my my wife's platform. She is the founder of an organization called I Speak Foxy, and they reach out with information and services to those who have been sexually abused or assaulted, men, women, and children. She provides clothes. She provides toiletries. She's also connected with the emergency placement people in situations like that. So, and a lot of this stuff that she pays for with her own dime. So, if you want to donate to someone, you know, that would be ideal. Foxy is my wife, so you know, if you're just dead set on donating to me, then, you know, leave a little message in there saying it's for Live Life. All right. But anyway, guys, that is my time. And like I said, I will be available until 2 a.m. So if you want to give me a call or you want to chat on Facebook, or you need to inbox me, you can also reach me at marcusjjackson@hotmail.com if you want to email me. All right. But like I said, I'll talk to you as long as I can. But after 2 o'clock, if I do not answer, please leave me a message and I will get back to you. All right. Listen, live life to the fullest, guys. Y'all take it easy. Try not to do too much. Peace. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.